think.
Yes.
We got the peephole vision.
Peeping Tom?
Yeah, it's like the peephole.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm just... It's fine. Whatever. Welcome back to...
Hashtag Just Sayin.
Ha ha ha.
How was your trip?
My trip was good.
Okay.
There was no new episode last week, so if you were looking for it, you would be disappointed. Because I was away. Far away.
In the UK.
Yep, in the UC.
How was the UC?
The UC was good.
Yeah. Ucking it up.
Any issues?
Any issues? Well,
Oh.
yeah.
I bet she's got a bathroom story, too.
Don't I, though? Don't I?
They don't call it a bathroom. They call it a loo.
You would most likely have one.
Okay. So we arrived. First of all, I will say this. I have never, in my 40 years...
Life.
In all of my life, I have never stayed in a 5-star hotel.
Ooh.
Okay.
This place was a 5-star hotel, and I didn't pick it because it was 5 stars. I picked it because it was literally across the street from the venue that I needed to get to Friday.
Sweet.
Okay.
So it was location. Location, location, location.
That's right.
Now.
So did they wipe your ass for you?
Huh?
Do they wipe your ass for you?
No. No, they did not.
Oh.
Joseph, I need to turn you up just a tad in the
Oh.
the audio.
Hello.
In the audio, which can be heard on iTunes.
There you go.
iTunes.
There you go.
SoundCloud.
Stitcher.
Google Play.
Anchor.
Spotify.
Look for us and spot us.
Audible.
Do we... Yes.
Amazon Prime. Amazon
Yes.
Music, not Prime.
Yes. And I think that's it.
Where else? Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Let
Where
us
else
know.
they want to put us?
Yeah, I know. It's everywhere.
Let us know.
Okay, so there's that. Now for the
Alright.
audio folks, you can catch, we'll say the first 40 on YouTube, so you can watch us be silly.
For free.
Yes, for now.
For now.
While it's still free.
While it's still free,
Before
enjoy.
YouTube decides to charge.
So, having said that, what?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Proceed.
Yeah. So, I get to this hotel.
Right.
It's
Day one.
it's very swanky.
Yeah.
And I immediately feel like I just rolled in dog shit and walked into
Your hat, sir.
like this fucker had a doorman. Every time you walked near the door, he immediately opened up the door, which was fun for me because there was a seat near the door. So every time I got up and walked, and then I was walking back to the seat, he'd immediately run and open up the door. And I'm like, no, buddy. And I'd point. So the other thing that was really, really, I don't want to say upsetting, but caused an issue was everybody who worked at this hotel was French.
Oui.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Oui.
Oh, yes. So it was, not only did I have the barrier of being in another country, but now I have to understand French. And I'm like, this is some fucking bullshit.
I should have paid attention in high school.
I did. I went to,
I know a little.
a vocational high school. I mean, I know
Me
a
too.
little bit from watching Agatha Christie. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, bonsoir, mon ami. I'm like, I know fucking nothing. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right. Now, I don't travel well. I'll be the first to tell you my tummy hurt for at least 3 days. Right?
Wow.
So we arrived, and I was kind of like, yeah, we gotta hang out at the hotel for a few. Our room wasn't ready because we were way too early. The flight left early.
Wow.
Isn't that a good thing?
Well, not when you can't check in until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We got to the hotel at 9. It was like 10 o'clock.
Ooh.
So I had to kill all that time. And I wasn't feeling well. And I was sleep deprived because I couldn't sleep on the plane. Because it was like the hospital. right? You know when you're in the hospital, and like the nurses and stuff come by every 5 minutes and go, "Are you having trouble sleeping?"
Yeah,
like-
you won't leave me alone.
What's your pain level?
As soon as I fall asleep, you come over and wake me up.
Okay.
Exactly. So I'm like, well, I wasn't until you woke me up. So, but like we flew over, it was British Air, and I will say that the flight crew was amazing. There was nobody on the plane.
Ooh.
So the guy looks at me. He was wicked playful. I loved him. He was like, oh, he goes, if you want to roam around, it's all right. And I was like, roam around where? Can I go to the cockpit? And he's like, no. He's like, if you want to sit over there. He's like, look at all the seats.
Right.
Yeah,
How
I'm
many
like,
was on there with you?
huh?
How many was on there with you?
Probably 10 people.
Wow.
Yeah, it was an empty
Nice.
flight. Empty flight. He was like, do whatever you like. I'm like, okay. And then I looked at Jay, I'm like, we could totally make out right now. like
The
nobody's
Mile High Club.
like nobody's
They don't use miles, they use metric systems.
True.
The
Kilometers.
metric club.
The kilometer system.
Kilometers.
We're joining the kilometer club up in here. So that was kind of funny. But here's the funny part, right? So there's a lady ahead of us. She like sits right in front of us. And I don't know what film she was watching, but I think it was softcore pornography.
Ooh.
I'm not joking. Jay leaned over at me and he goes, what the fuck is she watching? Is it porn? I was like, I think it is. I was like, who watches porn on a plane? I was like, I don't know. I'm dying to know what movie it was she was watching. I mean, she was...
Debbie does Dallas.
She was really into it, though. So I'm like, I didn't want to tap her and be like, excuse me, what's this filth?
Filth, form, and filth. You
So-
can't say filth, form, and filth.
You can't. So now I'm back at the hotel. We have to wait. The lady's like, your room's not ready. And I'm like, okay. And
Get it ready.
So how'd you get from the airport to the hotel?
we took a cab.
Okay. You didn't rent a car.
No.
Did you take one of those special cabs?
We took a black cab.
Okay.
The old school cab.
Nice.
This guy was funny as fuck. And I have a lot of stories about him.
All right.
His name is Kevin. I miss Kevin. I'm saying it every day since I got back. I'm like,
Hi, Kevin.
man, I miss Kevin. He was the shit. So he picked us up and he goes, he was from London and he lived just outside of London. So he had that thick accent.
Mhm.
So he goes, all right. He goes, I'm going to drop you off as close as I can. He's like, but I don't know if I can drop you off in front of a hotel. So I'm like, okay. And he goes, I can't do that accent because they don't do for the TH, they have an F sound. So I was like, noof. So he goes, yeah, they don't let the cabs go through that road. And I was like, why? Why are they anti-cab? And he goes, oh, fucking electric cars. And I was like, Kevin,
Wow.
Kevin is on point. He's like, they shut down. He's like, only electric cars supposed to go through there. He's like, but fuck that. He's like, we try and get you close. And I'm like, yes, Kevin. Yes.
This guy's great.
Yo, I loved Kevin. He was so funny. So he's like,
Give him a big tip.
yeah.
How many
Oh,
quid?
yeah. Huh?
How many quid?
Honestly, I don't know. So he did drop us off right in front of the hotel, and then the door guys immediately run over and they're like, bags. I'm like, why are you stealing
Money.
I'm like, why are you stealing my fucking bags, bro? So now we're waiting inside the hotel, and the woman's like, we'll get your room ready as soon as we can, but you're gonna have to wait. I'm like, great. So we were tired, and my tummy hurt, and I looked at Jay, and I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom, and he is like, okay.
The loot.
So there's a whole concierge, right? So I walk over to the concierge desk, who has a thick French accent,
We.
which I can't do a French accent. So he looks at me and he's like, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, where's your restroom? And he looks at me and he goes, what? And I said, the restroom. And he goes, the restaurant? It's down the street. He's like, what? The restaurant? And I'm like, no, not the restaurant. The restroom. And he's like staring at me. And I'm like,
I got a tinkle.
I was like, I need a toilet. And then Jay comes up behind me and he goes, the lavatory. And he goes, oh, okay, it's down this hall. I'm like, really? Really? He's never heard it called the restroom before?
It would have been, the bathroom, the John, the toilet, something.
Well, I can sit there and say every euphemism for bathroom that I can come in my head. But, we had a barrier, he and I. So finally, and then, I don't know, they ended up getting our room ready early.
Yay.
And then the woman goes, we've upgraded you, and you're across the street now. So I looked at Jay and I'm like, they fucking want us so far away from them. I was like, now we're across the street. And he's like, yeah.
Isn't that closer to the venue?
Technically it was.
All
yes,
right.
technically it was. Only by a few feet. But it was.
Hey.
Now you gotta call Kevin back. Say, drop me off for that one.
Okay,
Brought in
so
mannequins.
the second day we had to do a COVID test. That was...
The second day?
Yeah, you have to do what they call a 2-day test. You have to get tested for COVID before you go. And then if you're there between 2 and 10 days, you have to get tested on the second day and the 10th day.
Damn.
Yeah, so we did so many fucking COVID tests. I'm like, oh my God.
At least you know.
At least I do, yeah. So we went to, and this was so fucking sketchy. We went to this little clinic. It was like down an alley, which in England they call alleys mews. M-E-W-S. So I'm like, oh great, we gotta tip down this mew. Get a fucking COVID test by this guy. I was like, I need to see some sort of license from this guy. So we had I won't bother to go into it, but I will say that I learned in that afternoon that I was not made for English trains. The train stations, they're very, very old.
Okay.
Because England, it's an old city. It's an old country.
Yeah.
So they
We're
can't...
in New England. That's the
They
old
can't...
England.
Yeah. They can't upgrade...
The old dude.
They can't upgrade things like we do because there are limitations to what they can do.
Huh.
So everything is like 900 fucking years old.
Oh.
And you sit there and you're like, okay, and I have, as we know, a bad back. I got a bad knee.
Do they all aboard?
My ankles are shit. No, they mind the gap. The gap between the train and the platform. Mind the gap. Get on the train, mind the gap.
All right.
So, I mean, I'm going up like 4 flights of stairs with my backpack, and I look at Jay and I'm like, I'm going to die. I was like, this isn't good. This isn't good. I'm going to die.
4 flights of stairs for a train?
Yeah. Yeah, going up. Excuse me, coming back from the thing. It's
Oh. I thought like the train itself was like 4 flights high. I'm like, that's a
no.
high train.
To get out
It's
of
a
the
big train.
to get like to the station, you got to go down. It's like they're like way underground, and then to come back up, you got to go up like 4 fucking flights of stairs. And I looked at Jay. I'm like, I can't do this. I'm dying.
Where's the elevator?
There is none.
Oh.
There's no elevator.
Fuck.
I looked at Jay.
Old schooling. We'll be there in a minute.
The police system. I looked at Jay and I was like, I feel suddenly really bad for handicapped people because, I mean, I'm not in a wheelchair.
Suddenly?
Yeah, I know. Well, I know. You know what? Before I was like, fuck those people.
They got it made.
Yeah, exactly.
Front row parking.
I'm joking. But I was sitting there going, if I was less, I mean, I'm not quite able-bodied, but if I was less bodied, then I'd be like, then I would be so fucked. I was like, if you're in a wheelchair, you cannot get around London. I was
Carried.
like, you're fucked.
Someone's gonna carry your piggyback or something.
I know. I was like, you'd have to throw me on your back and then carry the fucking wheelchair in the other hand. And I was like, we both have a stroke because I didn't sit there going. I was like, oh my God. For the mask wearing, I will say it's about 50-50. Probably pretty much the same as here. Like you go in a store, you see some people with it, some people not. But I really had no desire to like be shoved in a train with a bunch of people who were like half mask, half not mask, and I'm sitting there going, no, I'm not. I am not getting COVID in this country because I will be stuck here for an extra 7 to 10 days, and it will cost me a quarantine fee.
How much is the quarantine fee?
$3,000 a person.
Damn.
Yep, $6
U.S.
grand.
dollars or?
That's U.S. dollars. Yeah. So I was like, oh, fuck that. No, that's not happening. So there was a thing I wanted to do. It was really the only thing that I was like, this is the thing I have to do. The two guys.
Yeah, you can do more than one thing per day.
No, Sean.
Multitasking.
I can't.
You can.
I can't. Because you know what? The day I went there, because there are these two guys, they have this awesome show. There was a book about behind the scenes of that show. The show's called Inside Number 9, by the way. There goes Minnesota.
Mine.
So I went there to see these two guys, and they were going to do a whole Q&A and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a show that they used to be on with their two friends, and it's called League of Gentlemen. And it took place in this fictional town, but they filmed it in a real town.
Right.
Good idea.
So I looked at Jay and I said, I want to go to, the town is called Hadfield. I was like, I want to go to Hadfield because that's where they film League of Gentlemen, and I want to see the town. It was the only other thing I wanted to do.
How far away was that?
I thought it wasn't going to be that far.
You thought wrong.
Upon a map
Sounds like
out.
you did.
Upon a map out, I found out by train it was going to take about 4 hours.
Damn.
Yeah, and by car it would be about 3.5.
Maybe sooner if you get Kevin back.
Well, here's the thing, right? So, Friday comes, it's the day of the show.
Mm-hmm.
We go to the show. We did a little bit of wandering around, and then we went to the show. The show was awesome. I loved it.
How long was
it was so worth all the shit that I had to go through to get there. The show was about an hour and a half and some change. They did like a quick 20-minute, what do you call that? Intermission.
Okay.
Because, and my nightmare was the Q&A part, right? Because I was sitting there going,
Did that nightmare come to fruition?
yeah, people are going to get a mic in their hand, and then that's going to be it. I've had nightmare situations
I'm
with
your
you.
biggest fan.
Oh, God.
We know.
That's why you're here.
Yeah, so what ended up happening was, during the intermission, they put this thing up on a screen, and it was, what do you call those? Those QR codes that you scan with your phone?
Yep.
So you just take a picture. Yeah, so you just take a picture of the little thingy with your phone, and it takes you to a website, and you submit your question.
Okay.
And then the moderator picked the best questions. And I was like, this is the best way to do this.
Right.
Yes.
To, like, vet them ahead of time.
What kind of shoes do you wear on the weekends?
Somebody asked about one of the guy's socks. They're like, hey, what's going on with your socks? And he's like, what? I know. It's crazy. But
What color underwear you wear?
it was kind of a funny question
What kind
because...
of breeches you wear?
Yeah, because, well, he was wearing, like, a orange tie. And he had on, like, these orange and different colored socks. So he's like, they're just festive socks. He's like, it's Halloween. It's festive. And then his friend that he does the show with goes, anybody want to care about my fucking socks?
No.
He's like, anyone? Anyone? And then people,
Like,
he got like the pity, yeah. And he's like, no, you fucking don't. He's like, but I'm going to tell you anyway.
wankers.
Yeah. So it was kind of funny. And then, so Sunday comes and it's it's our last day. It's a free day. We didn't have anything planned for that day.
Okay.
So I looked at Jay and
So
I
you
said,
could have done many things.
well, I looked at Jay and I said,
No, you gotta go try to get to the airport to get the flight.
well, that was Sunday.
Right.
Yeah. So Saturday
Oh,
comes.
Saturday. All right.
And I look at Jay and I was like, we haven't made it to Hadfield. I was trying to get like an Uber thing, but like Uber drivers, I found out, are a little bit reluctant to do a 4-hour ride.
4 hours.
Yeah. So I tried to get, I tried to hire a car. That didn't work. And then I look over, because I was sitting in a chair, I look over on the desk, and there's Kevin's business card sitting there, right? Because he had given it to Jay. And he's like, y'all need a ride to the airport? You give me a call. I'll pick you up right there.
Pip pip cheerio.
Yeah. So I was like, why don't we ask Kevin and my new best friend?
Okay.
And then Jay goes, I don't think Kevin's going to want to drive us 4 fucking hours to this town. And I said, he's going to get paid. I was like, it's not like I'm asking him to do it as a favor. So he goes, okay, you know what? I will call Kevin, and I will ask Kevin if he'd be willing to drive us to Hadfield.
All right.
So he calls Kevin, and I can hear Kevin has a very hey.
Boisterous.
So I hear him on the phone. Hey. So I hear him on the phone.
What you want?
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I can do that. He's like, I'll drive you out there, and he's like, he's thinking that's out near Derbyshire. I can get you there. He's like, no problem.
Shire.
And then he's like, we settled on a price, and then he's like, I'll pick you up in the morning. So it's like, cool. So Kevin,
Time to go in the morning.
We had it set for like 11 because my internal clock was still so fucked up. I was going to bed, I couldn't sleep.
Right.
And the thing that I told Jay, I was like, the thing we need to remember for next time is that when you go into another time zone, I was like, I need at least 2 to 3 days to reset my internal clock because everything I was doing wasn't working.
Right.
And I wasn't falling asleep until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning.
Damn.
And I'm just laying there like, fuck.
So this is what it used to be like to be Sean.
I'm living Sean's best life.
A few years ago, I could easily stay up till 4 or 5, but now I'm falling asleep on the couch about 8.
In East Coast time, I am. Not in London. In East Coast time, I am. So, it was fun. So, Kevin picks us up at 11, and we get to the vehicle, and he goes, yeah, I made a mistake. He's like, it's a little bit further than I thought it was. He's like, I'm still going to drive you. He's like, but I'm going to run the meter, and whatever the meter reads at when we get there is what you'll pay. He's like, don't pay me on the way back. He's like, you just pay me one way. So,
No.
so if the meter when we arrive says like $200, that's all that I would owe him. I wouldn't owe him for the back.
That guy's awesome.
So I was like, you got it, Kevin. So he goes, and it was funny because he's English, so he's like, what is this thing? What are you going here for? And I was like, oh, because of this show. And he's like, yeah. He goes, I put it on last night trying to figure out why the fuck you want
He was researching it. Look at that.
He was. He goes, I wanted to see it. He's like,
I didn't watch it.
He goes, I've never seen that show before. And I was like, okay. I said, did you like it? And he goes, I get it.
He gets it. Okay.
That was all I got from Kevin. I get it. He's like, I just shut it off. He's like,
I had to go to bed.
Fine. Yeah,
It's
it's
tired.
fine.
Long day.
He just wanted to see. So he goes, well, what are you gonna do? You want me to drive you around town? Like, what are you gonna do when you get there? And I was like, oh, there's a store I want to go to. And he's like a shop? And I said, yeah, a shop. And he's like,
You mimicking Kevin?
yes.
A shop? Yeah.
And he goes, oh, all right. And he's like, so I'm just driving you. He goes, you just going there for this shop? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I can drive you around a little bit. And I said, yeah, you can drive around the main thing and drive me back out.
Keep that meter off.
Yeah.
So take pictures?
I took a few, yeah.
Keep that meter off.
Yeah, no. Turn that fucking meter off, Kevin. So Kevin was like, all right. So he drove us out there, and it was a longer
You
drive.
had to play music while he was driving?
No. I mean, well, we chatted a little bit.
For 4 hours?
Yeah.
I can't chat for 4 hours. Damn.
Well, it was, he's a big Manchester United fan, and they were playing that day.
Oh.
So he was like, I'm going to keep an eye on the score. He's like, I'm recording the game. He's like, if they win when I get home, I'm going to watch it. If they lose, I'm not going to bother.
Wow.
I don't blame him.
And I was like, you know what, Kevin,
Did they win?
That's a great philosophy. We were on the way back, and Jay said something, and he goes, how did your boys do? And he goes, oh, yeah. 3-0, we won, yeah. So I was like,
3-0?
yeah, 3-0, which means they won 3-0.
Okay.
So then Jay goes,
I'm learning.
I know. So then Jay goes, ooh, I bet I know what you're going to do when you get home. And he's like, yeah.
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 Kevin was awesome. He was so funny.
How old was this guy? Damn.
He looked like mid to late 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, the thing that is funny, to be a cab driver in England, and you have to, they quiz you. You have to know all the roads, like all the roads.
Damn.
He goes, it takes up to 3 years to get your license
Wow.
to be a cab driver. He goes, some people it takes them 6 years to pass the exam.
Damn.
Yeah, I was like, fucking Kevin. That is crazy.
Good thing he has his.
Oh yeah, so we got to the town and
That's like trying to be a doctor.
yeah, exactly.
Just to be a cab driver.
But you know what? He knew every fucking road. Every fucking road. Because we're like, oh, the hotel's on Chiswell Street. He's like, all right, gotcha. Like, he didn't need any... He had the GPS in his fucking head. Like, he needed nothing.
KPS.
Yeah, Kevin. So we get to the town.
All right.
And he goes, oi, where's this shop? And I said, it's on Railway Street. And he goes, okay. And he's like, we're gonna... And I was like, don't fucking tell me you know Railway Street in a small, shitty little Derbyshireville town. He's like, we'll find it. I'm like, Kevin!
Front
GPS
door.
activated.
There's the front door.
And he fucking found it.
Wow.
Quickly, but might I add. So I go into the shop, and I got a couple posters. I got some little trinkets.
Trinkets?
Yeah, and I talked to the owner for a little bit, and she told me, like, oh... I mean, it's been about 18 years since the town was used for the thing. So she's like, you know, a lot of things have changed, and blah, blah, and this is not here no more, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, okay. Cool. So
I always hate that part.
Yeah.
This ain't here anymore. That's been torn down. This is...
Progress.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted... Because when the show opens, it does this overhead pan, and there's this big war memorial there. And that's how the show opens. So I was like, I just need a photo with the war memorial because that's like this huge thing. It looks like this angel thing, and it's like, meh. And Jay's always like, oh, that thing looks evil.
Gargoyle.
Yeah. So the war memorial was still there, and it's like right across from the store. So I was like, oh, the war memorial. So I took a few pictures of that, and I jumped in the car because I felt really, really bad. Because it took, like, just under 4 hours to get there. And I'm like, this was Kevin's whole day.
And yours.
It was his whole day. Like, normally he does random pickups, but he works a lot at, like, Heathrow, the airport, picking up people and stuff like that. So I felt really bad. I was like, poor Kevin, he can't do the airport runs today.
Buy him lunch?
Huh?
Buy him lunch?
I didn't, but he did stop and buy himself some lunch.
Fish and chips?
No. I don't know what he got. He got some kind of snack. And then, but I felt really bad, so I got back in the car, and we were driving out, and he's just sitting there, and he's like, so that's it? I was like, yeah, Kevin, we can go back now. And he's like, really? Yeah. You sure? Yeah, I'm sure. Go.
I would have been like, at the same place you want to show us.
I know. I was like, well, I mean, you could...
Just get the meter off.
Kevin, that meter better be on 0, buddy. Better be on 0. And you know what was great? I'm not going to say how much it cost me, but he did knock money off.
Wow.
So I was like, Kevin...
This guy's a saint.
Kevin! I gave him a tip, and then we used him to get to the airport the next day.
Nice.
And Jay...
Bid you farewell?
Yeah, he was fucking... He's like, I'm going to drive you to the airport tomorrow. Excuse me. And then he goes, I'm going to pick you up at this time. Should get to the airport in plenty of time. And he picked us up, and it was probably about 6:30 in the morning. There was nobody around.
Yeah.
So he goes, did you guys get to do everything? And I was like, no, man, we didn't get to see, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, oh. He said, well, you'll have to come back then. And I said, Kevin, if I come back, I am calling you. And he goes, yeah. He's like, you better. And we're driving, and he's like,
just get the meter.
Fuck that meter, Kevin. You turned that right off.
Wow.
So he's like, yeah. And then he goes, I tell you what. He's like, traffic's light. He goes, did you get to see,
Parliament, Big Ben?
Yeah. He goes, did you get to see, what's the, oh, shit, Westminster. He's here to see Westminster and the Queen and stuff. And I was like, no, I didn't get to. He's like, we're driving right by there. He's like, I'll stop. You can jump out. He's like, it'll be fine. So I was like, cool, man. So he did that. He's like, this is Trafalgar Square and blah, blah, blah. And he's like giving us all this shit.
History.
And then we get to the airport and he jumps out. He's like shaking our hands. He's like, oh, all right. And I was
Hugs.
I was like, go America.
You tell him about the show?
I didn't actually.
Actually. You tell anybody about the show?
Dude. The French people at the hotel? No, because I knew I was going to make fun of them.
I was say, I meant to make copies of flyers for you.
Yeah.
Pass around there. I forgot.
It was that.
What's this American crop?
The lady at the shop was kind of nice. She was a little bit standoffish. She's like, "Oh, where are you from then?" Like Boston. Oh, I knew it. No, you didn't.
You can tell.
You didn't know shit, lady. Yeah. So I'm running around trying to be like super polite, and because I didn't want people to be like, "Oh, Americans, rude." You know. And Jay, who is the most introverted person, every person he came across, he was like, "Hi, how are you?" Like, and I'm like, "What happened to you?"
Who are you?
Yeah.
You're never gonna see these people again.
Well, I mean, he goes, "Well, I don't want them to think I'm a rude American," so I'm like, "It's too
You're being
much."
an annoying American.
I was like, "It's too much." You know,
Bring it back. Bring it back.
dial it back a little. And then he got mad. We were I got him the breakfast package, not the English breakfast, but the continental breakfast at the hotel. And to get that, we had to go across the street to the other piece of the hotel, and
A piece of the pie.
yeah, and then it's kind of like
Kevin, take us there.
it's kind of like a buffet,
All right.
which is my nightmare situation. I hate buffets.
So there's more than just like coffee and muffins.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they had like all that shit that they eat. They eat beans for breakfast. It's
Ew.
disgusting, yeah. And it's
I
not
don't
like
eat beans at all.
It's
We
not
don't
like
hit the bed. Beans? Nope. Bye.
beans. Bye.
Bye, Bean.
Bye, beans. Yeah, he goes. So he goes over to get the breakfast, and he filled up a plate. Not filled. I don't know how he filled it up, but he got to get himself some food, and then he found a quiet place to sit, which is like in an adjacent like conference room or something. So one of the ladies, he was bringing his plate back. He was turning it in, and then one of the ladies goes, "Well, I hope to see you in the dining room with the rest of the patrons tomorrow." And he's like, "No," and he wants out. And I was like, what was that all about? And he said, "I don't know. She wants me to sit with everybody else." And I was like, "No, it's COVID times." Like, is she gonna pay the $6,000 or waive the hotel fee if we're stuck here?
Don't waive the fee. Then turn that meter off too.
I know. Turn that hotel meter right off.
Oh shit.
It was a great trip.
It was good, yeah.
Yeah, no regrets.
I regret I didn't get to see as much as I wanted to because
Yeah.
I couldn't get used to the time change and stuff.
Were you guys driving on the right side of the road?
Hmm?
Were you guys on the other side of the road?
Yeah, England drives on the opposite side of the road than we do.
Was that weird?
You weren't
It's
driving.
not on the highway. Because you don't really notice it on the highway. On the regular roads, yeah, it's weird.
How bad?
I was looking at Jay and I said, because I'm not really a city person. Even in Massachusetts, I don't like... I mean, I worked in the city for a while. I'm all set going into the city.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just security in the city.
I like suburbs.
I hate driving in.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the little small town thing. As I've gotten older, it's like, I don't want to go anywhere if I can... The
Nope.
city is a cesspool. You people are a cesspool.
One-way streets is like, what?
Yeah. So I was like, I said, London's okay. I was like, but England has, like, I like those little quaint little English villages, like the little
Cobblestone
village.
streets.
Yeah, like the little village we went to on Saturday. I was like, I would have loved to have seen more of that. I said, and, you know, that depends on either getting Kevin or
You got his number.
or we rent a car. And I said, I just don't know if I can negotiate a car there. It's like, I'm not sure I could do it in the city because it's like making a right turn because you automatically want to go near like that. But you have to go to the other thing, the other lane.
Right.
So it's like, huh. I was like, I can just picture me trying to do that and driving down the wrong way.
Mhm.
Just because I'm like, well, I'm in America.
The wing.
Excuse me, exactly.
Go back to where you came from.
I'm trying.
Ass backwards.
So I said, I don't know.
Is the driving wheel on the right side of the car?
Yeah.
But that looked weird.
It does a little bit. And then we were talking to Kevin
Hey.
because we had all that time to kill. And Kevin does come to the U.S. He's not been to Boston yet, though. It's on his list.
Hey.
We were trying to tell him.
You should have told him about the show. We could have had Kevin on the show.
We tried to tell him where to go. It's like, oh, you can go to Boston. I was like, if you prefer like stuff like this, I was like, you should go to New Hampshire. And he's like, yeah, well, we're all right. So he's been to Vegas. He liked Vegas. He's been California. All those places. So I said, so Jay asked him, Kevin, when you come to the U.S., do you do the stupid thing that we're doing and hire a taxi to drive you 8 hours, or do you drive yourself? And he goes, oh, I drive myself. And I was like, how, like, is that hard to negotiate? Because you're not only in a different seat,
Different lane.
but now you're driving in a different lane. And he goes, it's fine.
I can handle it.
Yeah, I was like, God damn, he's got it. He's got it. I was like, I might have him drive me around the U.S. too. You're like, come on.
I thought you were
Kevin.
going to tell me that you and Jay offer to drive him when he comes here.
Oh, no.
He probably knows every street around here, too. Down on South Ave. Oh, yeah. I know
I'll get you
that.
there.
I know.
Eventually.
It's all right. We'll get it. Get it. It's funny. But I loved Kevin. And when we landed, Jay and I were in the bus because we took the Braintree shuttle.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in the bus going back to Braintree. Jay texted Kevin and said, Kevin, we've landed and we're on our way back to the car and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, because we landed a little bit early. So he's like, oh, all that wind help you get there sooner.
Tailwind.
Yeah, and I was telling him, like, I was like, dude,
Now, the numbers over there, like, they're the same as here, right?
what do you mean the numbers?
Like, the phone, I'm like 1, 7, 8. You know,
Oh, no. It's like,
555.
no, it's like 0. I mean, it depends where about you are.
Wow.
It's like 044, blah, 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 blah. To phone here, all they would have to do is dial 1 and then, like, 508. Da, 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 da. But for me to call there, I gotta fucking hit the plus sign and,
Wow.
do arithmetic and then get all the 11 numbers in a row. Yeah.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Wow.
But he's like, oh yeah. So we were driving and I said, oh, Kevin, I missed one hell of a storm. And he's like, did ya? And I said, yeah. I was like, people are without power. And he's like, oh, that's no good.
37 hours. My house.
Really?
Yeah, I missed 1 day of work.
Only one day?
That's it.
I don't know.
Was it nice?
Was it nice?
I couldn't do anything. Couldn't watch TV. I couldn't do nothing.
You didn't have to go in and see Jeff.
Fucking Jeff.
That's his. Say
That's what we all call him.
You say Jeff, but that's his name. Like one of the other guys' name is Jeff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's a new guy.
See,
His name
dick.
is Jeff. Oh, he's all right. He's kind of
Is
slow.
that right?
He's old and kind of
Oh,
slow.
okay.
But,
Ah.
Yeah.
He's not a Jeff.
Not
He's
Jeff,
just a Jeff.
Just a Jeff.
All right. Yeah, my mom was texting me. She's like, she was without power for like 3 days, I think.
Wow.
She's like, I had to stop throwing food away. She was pissed. It's like, shit.
I had a generator, but just to run the sub pump so the basin wouldn't flood. But
Yeah.
that's it.
I have a generator.
And I use my car to charge the phone.
I didn't think to tell my niece about it, or because she was house sitting and dog sitting.
Oh.
And I mean, if I had known there was going to be like a nor'easter that people would lose power, I would have. And there's the dog. I would have brought it out and showed her how to use it and stuff. But I mean, I don't think we were without power for very long here. Hi, honey. Well, all right then. Like, whatever. So we were hanging with Kevin. And he goes,
Kevin have a last name?
You know what? It was began with M. It was like Mick something.
Of course.
I forget. I don't know. Jay still has his business.
UK with an Irish name?
Yeah, the Irish. Yeah, that was because Jay asked him. He goes,
Mick Griffin.
Yeah, he goes, you know, if you don't mind my asking, why do you support Manchester United? Because they're not like the local team for the London area.
All right.
And he goes, oh, well, you know, back in the days, like, they had all the Irish players, and so my family supported them. So he's like, oh, okay. So you just liked them because they had Irish. And then it was like, all right. And then we were saying that, oh, well, you know, there are some people in the Rhode Island area who just like the Yankees because they had all the Italian players.
Hey.
Hey. So he goes, so what have you got to eat yet? And I said, oh, we had some, you know, like pizza and stuff like that. And he's like, have you had a shepherd's pie? And I went, he was mad. He's like, have you? And I'm like, Kevin, no. He's like, you gotta. And I was like, okay. And I was like, is there a particular place that I need to get this from? He's like, all of them, perfect. I was like, you know what? That's fucking, you are a British person. Like, you're just like, there is no horrible shepherd. They're all perfect to you.
I think you're going to say, my house. Let's go. I won't even turn the meter on.
Call me mum. Put her on the stove.
Yeah. So he's like, you know, on a day like, because it was kind of an overcast, and you could tell it was going to, like, the sky was going to open up and it was going to pour. And he's like, a day like this, perfect. Perfect. So I was like, do you do, like, the pie thing, or do you have, because they make it two different ways. You can have it as, like, a pie, or you can have it as, like a hot pocket. Like a differently shaped hot pocket. So I was like, do you eat it as like the pastry thing, or do you eat it as a pie? He's like, as the pie. And I was like, okay.
Only way.
And he's like, but you can get it the other way. I was like, okay. So I did have, there is a variation, because shepherd's pie, legitimate shepherd's pie, is made with lamb. Yeah, look at Joe's face. Joe got the crinkles. He was like,
that's why you gotta watch the
I
show.
don't like lamb.
Yeah.
I don't like lamb.
Yeah, well, me neither, dude.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi.
There we go.
The wire.
Wires.
Yeah, they're gonna be replaced.
Replacing the wires.
So I was like, are you still there?
I'm here.
Nope.
Are you?
They moved.
You're really not as loud as you could be.
Hi.
There you go.
Hello.
You know what? And that's jacked up too.
Hey. What?
Let me try that. How's that?
Hi.
Try that.
Hi.
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 Oh.
Hi.
Right.
Anyways, shepherd's pie.
Yeah. So
They're pretty.
there's a variation called cottage pie, and cottage pie is exactly like a shepherd's pie, but they make it with a hamburger.
Hey.
So that's my deal. I was like, I will get a cottage pie, and I will be happy with that. So I had.
Me had two. I'll take one.
Okay.
I did have cottage.
Corn, mashed potatoes, gravy.
Or
Was it use peas?
there's peas in it. I think there's corn. There's like a gravy.
Smokey, you
There's
been
like
going, huh?
Carrots.
There's like a mashed potato. What would you call that? Top,
Layer.
like
yeah.
topper to
Uh-huh.
it.
Yeah.
They put the mashed potato on top and then they bake it. It was really good. I liked it.
All right.
I would definitely eat it again.
Right.
They put corn in a lot of stuff. Jay got a salad. There's fucking corn in the salad.
Ew. I like corn, but not in your salad, these.
I was like, why is there corn in the salad? I got a Sprite. It tasted like I knew going into this. I was like, I'm not gonna be able to get Mountain Dew for like the entire. I knew.
Smuggled some in.
I should have. I couldn't get Mountain Dew's doesn't exist.
Really?
Yeah. You can get Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, 7-Up, and root beer, and like Fanta Orange, and that's fucking it.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, I'll get Sprite because I haven't had a Coca-Cola in like 8 years.
That's a long time.
It is. So I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna react to a Coke. So I was like, I'll have Sprite. So I got Sprite, and it tasted fucked up. So I was like, what did they do to the Sprite? It's weird. And Jay had gotten me a huge ass bottle. So I was stuck drinking.
Like my liters?
Yeah. So I was stuck drinking like a whole fucking liter of this shit.
Liter of cola.
I know. And I was fucking liter. Ramrod! Liter of cola. So I got down to like this much left, and I look at Jay and I'm like, I can't drink any more of this. I was like, it tastes funny. And he was
Like
so
flat or like
no, just
too sweet, too sour. I don't know.
it had a very
Is there a
like
Sprite that tastes like a Crystal Pepsi type thing?
it tasted odd. I don't.
When they brought Crystal Pepsi back,
Yeah.
it tasted weird.
It tasted very lemony. Like yeah, that's the only way
Lemon.
like, but like sourish. Yeah, it was.
I know that taste. I get that when you order a Sprite at McDonald's or Wendy's or something.
The syrup is out.
Syrup
Yeah.
gets more lemon than it does lemon and lime combined.
Yeah, that's the only way I know how to describe it. But so we were getting food from this place. We were getting from this place, and I was like, "Can you get me a Coke?" I was like, "Let me try a Coke." So he's like, "Okay." So I got a Coke. Awesome.
Oh.
The Coca-Cola was awesome.
Tara approved.
I was like, "This is so much better." I was like, "This is so good." And he went down the street because there was this little convenience store, and he came back and he goes, "Look what I got." He had gotten this thing of orange juice, right? Now I don't know where everybody else stands. I am very pro pulp. I like pulp in my orange juice.
None
No?
for me.
You're a light
Light
pulp guy?
pulp.
Light pulp?
Little pump.
That's as far as you go, a little bit?
A little bit.
A little bit?
A little bit.
So I will take as much pulp as they're willing to give me. I'm like, extra pulp? Just fucking throw the orange in the cup. At this point.
Fresh squeezed.
Yeah. So he came back and he goes, I got you orange juice with pulp. But they don't call it with pulp over there. Would anybody like to guess what they call fucking orange juice with pulp?
No.
With bits.
Bits.
With bits.
Kibbles and bits.
Fucking orange juice with bits.
So over there it'd be Kibble's Pulp.
Kibbles and pulp. I was like, this is mad. Kevin!
You don't like the bits?
I got you.
Kevin, turn the meter off. Come help me. Help me with the bits. I don't understand. Oh,
Did it taste good?
It tasted all right. It was a little bit.
Bitty.
You know, in America,
I said the same
in
thing.
America,
Bitty.
they put sugar in everything, but over there they don't.
Salt?
So things are not as sweet as they are here.
Oh.
So, which is probably why the Sprite tasted like shit. And my
It's
orange
all
juice-
natural.
Yeah, so and the orange juice was like, oh Jesus Lord, help me. But it was okay. I made it through.
Yay.
I know.
She's back.
And instead of the whole like chicken and chip, instead of the whole
Yep.
fish and chip thing,
Right.
we did get like the chicken and chips. So
Chicken.
it was battered chicken with chips, which is French fries essentially,
Yay.
which were good.
French fries.
Oh,
French bread.
chips all day, all fucking day. I'm like, I'll just
Did
sit
you
here.
get poutine?
I'll just eat fries the whole time.
It's fries with like gravy on it and shit.
Yeah, that's Canadian.
Oh.
But I have had it and it's good.
Okay.
Look at this culinary tour we're taking now. Joe took us all the way to Canada.
French Canadian.
Yeah, I am too.
Oui.
Half.
For bacon's ham.
First of all, fucking, and they have that in England too, where they call it bacon. I'm like, it's fucking ham. Ham. How could you? I can't. It's not Canadian bacon. You have a piece of ham.
Ham.
Oh, God. It's just, it even looks like ham. I'm like, that doesn't even look like bacon.
Right.
God.
Wow.
So one of the first things I did when I landed was get a Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
And Jay goes, wow, you don't have a problem. He's like, no, I don't, because I have a Mountain Dew now.
Problem solved.
Yep, exactly. Problem solved. Oh.
Woo! That was an ordeal.
It was. Thank you so much for joining us. You can listen to the rest of the show every place we mentioned earlier. We will see you next time. Huh?
We ain't gonna say it again.
No, I don't have it in me. Turn off the meter. We will see you next time. Somebody's got something to say.
Movie quote? Or you want me to do one?
You do quote.
I'll do a movie quote. All right.
I haven't thought about him lately.
Ready? Sorry I'm late. Work was murder.
Oh, is that it?
That's it.
Okay.
Happy with everything? And Kevin, keep the meter off for us.
Yay! Oh, shit. Nope. I think, nope.